You're listening to Tim Bulkeley's 5-Minute Bible. E100-6. Genesis 12. How odd of God. What a chapter. It's got a magnificent beginning. Abraham called to leave everything that makes him who he is. 12:1. Now the Lord said to Abram, Go from your country and your kindred and your father's house to the land I will show you. Land, his nationality, kindred or people, depending on how you translate it. Moledet's the Hebrew. That's his family, his whānau, the extended family. Father's house, that's his home, his immediate family. Leave the lot. Okay, nowadays it's our money that makes us who we are, or our jobs. But back then it was people. And Abraham is called to leave them all. To go to a vague, unspecified land I will show you. And who's this Lord who's going to do the showing? There's no indication in the genealogy of the Shemites in chapter 11 that Abraham's people even really knew the Lord. And later on in the story we'll discover that they still keep a few household gods around them. So they were certainly polytheists. But after Abraham receives a stupendous promise in verses 2 and 3, in verse 4, with no questions asked, he goes. What faith! But then, of course, hardly has he arrived at his destination and received the promise anew, verse 7, and had a quick look at the promised land in verses 8 and 9, than in verse 10, he's off to Egypt to beat the famine. All thought of trusting God seemingly driven away by hunger. What a guy, eh? And it's a pattern that Abraham and his descendants will repeat. This model of faith is equally often an example of lack of trust. It's no wonder that a possibly anti-Semitic English journalist prepared the epigram, How odd of God to choose the Jews. But then, of course, there's the comeback. There are several comebacks, but the one I like is, Oh no, it's not. He knows what's what. Because what matters is that Abraham's and Sarah's hearts are in the right place. They may not be good at actually trusting God, but they want to. And that's what makes them different. That's what makes it not odd of God to choose Abraham and his descendants. Despite everything. Because after all, Abraham, Sarah and their descendants are just human beings. But notice too, because we've gone past it in our jumping at his faith, notice too what was promised to Abraham back there at the start. Not just the I'll make you a great nation and bless you and make your name great stuff that no doubt Abraham noticed, but so that you will be a blessing. Abraham is blessed to be a blessing. Verse 3, I'll bless those who bless you, and the one who curses you I will curse, and in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Notice that the chosen people are chosen not just for glory, but also to be a blessing. That's always the way with God's choosing. God never chooses people for their own sake. He regularly chooses people for the sake of other people. Bye for now. That's always the way with God's choosing. God never chooses people for their own sake. He regularly chooses people for the sake of other people. Bye for now.